something about the reason why we ended up getting connected at all. We know somebody that knows somebody, or we've been on something, or someone has recommended us to each other.
Hmm.
It's always it's always surprising to me. Some of these people I've admired for years, or I've seen their work, or and then someone else just brand fresh new, and I go, "Hey, do you want to join in on a live conversation?"
That's
So
wonderful.
I just have the funniest thought this morning. Well, it's morning for me. So as you're introducing yourselves, you can let us know if you're from if you're outside of the Pacific coast. You might want to mention that too, because it's always such a fascination that our wonderful wide world goes round and round. But my thought today was, everywhere that I have lived as an adult since I finished college, I have been able to hear a train whistle from wherever we've lived. Oftentimes, it's only 2 blocks away, and that's been true in 3 different communities. Mark, Evan, you just showed up. I'm so glad. We have a full complement. Mark, these are some other willing friends that have come, gathered at the table today. Mark, can you hear a train whistle from where you live? And just let us know why you caught my attention on LinkedIn.
So I can hear a train whistle. Not this moment, though. I'm right across from a train track. Right now, I'm beaming in from the old port of Montreal, and
Oh.
there's a flour mill right beside, and they have a train track running right past the port. And
Oh.
why are we here? What inspired our connection? Well, I think we met on a Clubhouse chat, and
Yes.
that's right. And we were talking about new technologies for healthy aging and aging in place, and the challenges of innovation. And I was talking about this new program that we developed. We're starting to pilot. It's called Ludo Fit. It's a strength and balance program for active aging. And after that, we quickly reconnected and had a really nice chat. I think it was a Friday afternoon, and or it might have been. It felt like a Friday afternoon.
Did I have trouble getting my camera on?
I don't recall. I don't
Oh,
recall
okay.
that detail,
Okay.
but
Well, my face looks familiar then. There was some poor person. It was like, well, they're looking at like a radio and I get to see them. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that you said, "Hey, let's get together and talk." When you describe LudoFit, what helps people to go, "Oh, I get what that's about."
Yeah, in a couple sentences, it's an experiential strength and balance program. It combines 3 things: video games, motion sensing, and strength and balance exercise for active aging. And it's something that you can do on your own computer or iPad.
Oh, this is great. It in my mind, it leads right over to Burton, because he talks with Abby Ritchie. And I know that even yesterday on her Tech Tuesday, she was asking about, motion sensors, and he wasn't on yesterday. Were you on like 2 or 3 weeks ago? It seems pretty recent,
Yeah, it was
Burton.
about a week or two ago that I was a guest on her show.
Yeah. And so technology, I mean, you immediately, your brain goes a particular direction. But, besides just being interested in technology, what do you do with that? Oh, and don't forget train whistle.
So yeah, My name's Burton Kelso. I'm known as a technology expert, but I own a technology company based out of the greater Kansas City area that's along the lines of Geek Squad. I'm also a national technology and cybersecurity speaker. But as far as
That's right.
the senior space is concerned, um, or I should say, I shouldn't say senior, aging adult, or what's another good term? But I hate.
Persons of longevity.
There you go.
Anybody who's
That's a good.
interested in longevity for
There you
themselves
go.
or others. How you
I
Right.
like
haven't
that?
heard that one. That's a great one.
That is a great one. But one of the things that I bring to the table is the fact that obviously older adults is the term that I was looking for are often victims of scams. A quick story that I can share with you is my wife's uncle fell victim to a scam over the weekend. He got taken for quite a bit of money. And, it just happens. It was just one of those tech support scams. And he fell victim. So one of the things that I like to do is to help people avoid a lot of the scams. And of course, in the holiday season, we see quite a bit of that going on, and
Sure.
also helping people embrace technology in general, because there's a lot of different tech devices out there that can help um, older adults get more from their lives. I mean, you got fitness trackers, you got smart home devices that can allow them to talk to loved ones. Obviously, you've got the internet and things like Zoom, FaceTime. You've got WhatsApp where they can communicate with family members. So, I mean, the list is endless as far as the tech that's involved with everyone, including older adults. And my job, the thing that I always say is that I love technology. I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, safe, and easy to use for everyone.
Great.
Oh my goodness. And train whistle?
Toot toot.
Not letting you go. Can you hear any train whistles from where you are right now or where you live?
The one that I just made.
That's it.
we're in a That's it. Unfortunately, we're in a larger city or a larger suburb of the Kansas City area, so there are no trains around us. Where my family lived a couple of years ago, the train was right down the
Oh.
road, so we could hear it all the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So
I'm
did you
not
like
get
that homemade train whistle too?
toot toot. Okay, thank you. Sound effects. He's so techie.
Right.
Oh, this is great. Is Geek Squad just a thing that you call yourself, or is Geek Squad
Oh,
an organization? Go
Geek
ahead.
Squad is a offset of Best Buy, but for people to understand what we do at Integral, then I always use the analogy of that I always say we're basically Kansas City's version of Geek Squad. Or if I tell people if they want to know what type of services that we offer, I always say, yeah, we offer the same services that Geek Squad offers. So they unfortunately own the brand as far as making people understand what it is for on-site and remote tech support. But yeah, we just kind of latch on to that.
Well, it helps a brain to go, that's that. Speaking of tech, this is just something I got to tighten something. Sociavi.
Very
Is
good.
that how Paula, how you say it?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Wonderful. Now, when I think of, here, Burton's been talking about social media, and Mark has this awesome product that has been recently rebranded. Your product, it, I don't know that there's a lot of tech involved, but if there is, you need to tell me. And don't forget train whistles.
Okay, well, let me start with the train whistle. Now that you were mentioning about, I have been living all my life in a place where I can hear sometimes closer than others a train whistle. So we do have a little train close to our town. And nice to see you, Mark, again. We connected at some time before. So I'm happy to,
I
to
like
speak with you.
this.
And I'm looking forward to hear about Joy because
Mhm.
Aging solo is such an important topic. I just was talking with someone else this week about that. But sociavi, let me explain you about sociavi. Sociavi is a Latin word that means share and unite. And that is really the purpose of my company, that older adults or people of longevity stay together, share moments, and stay united together with their loved ones, independent of where they are. So to uh, my mission is to help older adults, especially those that feel intimidated with technology or because of the disease. It may be that they have Parkinson, multiple sclerosis, or even dementia, and using technology is just too cumbersome for them. But they still have the needs for companionship and engagement. So I try to remove all the barriers, or as much as I can, in order that they can still connect with their family and do meaningful activities on a screen that looks like a picture frame. That's my Sociavi device, the Connect to Me device, that they get, and through this device that is always connected. I always make the comparison with an appliance like a refrigerator. You power
Ah,
it into the power outlet and forget about it, and it's always ready to communicate and engage. But on the other hand, the family members are the ones that install an app in their smartphone. And from the app, they can connect no matter where they are in the world with their loved ones, send them pictures, videos, but also have this, what we're having today, sort of a live video visit. And for the older adult, they don't have to really do anything. They benefit from these remote interactions from their loved ones. And on top of that, we have added some activities, especially for people with dementia, that they can very simple do on the screen that I develop. So in a nutshell, this is Sociavi, Share and Unite. Thank you.
share, unite. Latin, share and unite. You also said removing barriers.
Yes.
I love it. I mean, it's not just pointing and saying something ought to be done or this needs to be fixed. You're removing barriers. So I had it backwards in my mind. I was thinking about our author today, and as I'm turning to Paula, I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness, is there any technology?" Of course there is. You're you are using technology for with the thought in mind that it shouldn't be cumbersome. It should, how can this um, wonderful innovation in that's so much a part of our world right now. You think of people who will be aging 20 years from now. Technology is just constant for them. There is I worked for a company that was very much still using paper as I was going into homes as a caregiver, and
Right.
they were sending me there very much using paper. And I look forward to when they can find a system that is not too cumbersome, because a lot of the caregivers were people who put the no in techno. And it was
Right.
just like, I can't do both. I can't be with my people and learn technology. So I look forward to something like the Sociavi, like the LudoFit, like many of the things that Burton knows about, that has made it less cumbersome for someone who's dealing with issues or challenges that is also being associated with advancing age. I look forward to that for all those caregiving people to go, "Oh, that was so easy. It completely makes sense to me. I can handle this."
Right.
And it
Right.
would be safer than trying to remember where those papers with private information were very, very HIPAA, very privacy. Did I put that in the right spot? Did I cover it up? If it's locked down, oh, this you are all about this, Burton. if it's locked down so that it can't be disseminated to unscrupulous people, get that, the encryption and all. I'm going to stop talking tech because I'm at the end of my knowledge of tech. And Joy, you've got something that I can understand. I know that you became an author, but I don't know when. And don't forget, train whistle.
I became an author in 1985, maybe
Woo!
before many of the people in the business now were born. I was a handful of people who recognized elder care as an employee benefit. And this was at a time when childcare was the main theme. So a handful of us would poke at corporate America and then the corporations around the world. And we said, wake up. We need to be talking about juggling family responsibilities, including aging parents. And slowly but surely, they woke up. 1985. But
Oh
about
my
10 years ago, while I was and have been on the road for the past 30 years, people began to come up to me after my workshops and working, and they would say, I'm doing this for my parents, but who's going to take care of me when I'm old? Bingo. I knew that was the next big, huge trend. And here we are. Just a couple of days ago, I highlighted the New York Times' second article on aging solo. And we're doing our best to let people know they can plan. You don't have to be alone in old age unless you want to be.
That is
Trains,
the
trains. You bet I know trains. I want to talk about trains. I live in Chicago. People don't know this, but Chicago in the 1800s was the focus of trains. It's perfectly positioned for coming and going, and trains were all that was. And Chicago was really built on the train industry. Right outside of the city are the trains that I can hear. I live in the city, and we have created Millennium Park, which covers the train tracks. A lot of people don't know that, but underneath, Chicago has 2 levels in the city, and underneath are the train tracks that continue to this day. Every time I hear a train, and it's in the far distance, I hear it. I hear it like people hearing coins falling on the floor. I hear train whistles, and it just brings a smile to my face because I think about the pioneers.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Underground railroad is not just a phrase. Is that what you're describing? They're down in the tunnels.
They come from ground level and then eventually just make their way under the city. People are hopping on trains and getting off trains underneath, and then they get back on, and then they're back up on the city level, on ground level. It's a magnificent feat of engineering. I'm in awe of what people do. In awe. And that's technology. Can we go back to technology?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. That's technology when it was just paper and pencil, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Magnificent, brilliant engineers and architects.
oh.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Joy, 1985.
Mm-hmm.
I probably the very next year I was teaching elementary school. I think at that point I was still at preschool. I'd found a job after college teaching preschool, and finally actually did what my degree was about the following year. But you were changing culture, a giant ship, and your tugboat was alongside going nudge, nudge,
Mhm.
nudge, to think in terms of, yes, older people, there's more of them, they're living longer, they have more resources that they don't that are needed, they don't know about yet, and there you are, nudging, nudging, nudging. So my question to everyone else, are do you see yourself nudging? Do you see yourself changing the cultural consciousness stream with something that you are doing?
Well, I guess I'll go first since I opened my mouth first. So, the answer for me would be yes. And again, it has to deal with technology because technology is always evolving, especially when it comes to new devices and, of course, cyber threats. There's always some new
Mhm.
cyber threat out there. And I think one of the things that's important for people to understand is that most of your cyber threats aren't domestic. I mean, you're dealing with terrorists and state-sponsored cyber attacks, and they are always thinking of new ways to scam people. So, yeah, as far as nudging is concerned, I'm always sharing the latest and greatest tips in a way that people can understand them, so that they can help better themselves to stay protected from a lot of what's going on. And of course, cyber threats are seasonal. Right now,
Really?
right now the threats are more holiday themed because a lot of cybercrime is socially engineered, meaning that it's geared to make you react to the information that's coming into you. For example, if you get an email this time of year, it's going to be more about, hey, there's a problem with your order, or there's a problem with the shipping of your order. And of course, that's going to make you react because we're weeks away from Christmas. And or I shouldn't say Christmas, any of the holidays. And I think even Hanukkah runs with Christmas. But whatever holiday you're celebrating, you may be buying gifts. And if you buy a gift, you're probably likely to buy it online. Buy it online, you've got to worry about it. Is the gift going to make it? So any alert via email or text, or even a phone call that there's a problem with the order or with the package, you're going to react to. And that's social engineering. It's designed to make you react rather than think about the information that's coming through. I'm always nudging to let people know what the latest threats are, and that way, hopefully, more people can stay safe because cybersecurity is a human issue. It's not a machine issue. Truth be told, it's estimated about 99% of the cyber attacks that are out there require user interaction to take effect. So as long as you're not clicking on stuff or giving out your information, then you're going to stay safe from most of the threats out there.
Yeah.
I am a victim. I fell completely into what was going on. I think it was after I had received a message saying, "You recently shopped at such and such a place," which I had. And, "Could you please let us know what your experience?" No, it wasn't one of those. I decided to go in and register a compliment for the employees at a chain of stores because they had just been so wonderful to me. It was many years ago. And soon after that, things occurred. And at the end of the story is my adult daughter said, "Mom, the next time something like that happens, you got to call me. Just tell me what you're seeing or what's being said. Just ask me," because she's much more jaded. She's much more, "Oh, really? Prove it to me." In fact, we have 3 kids by adoption, and that daughter was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and Missouri is the show me state. And boy, did we have to show a lot. That finishing her adoption took more than a year because we had to keep showing that we were being a family together. I don't know what, but she definitely has that in her DNA that, you show, I'm not sure about this. So she definitely questions first and doesn't immediately think, "Oh, I'm so glad I received this information because something terrible has happened and I need to fix it. And this is how I fix it." The instructions say, it's like instructions, not at all. Mark, as I was talking about nudging, is there something cultural or individual that you feel like, I'm helping people to adjust? Just move your perspective on this part of living that maybe everybody just is following the sheep in the front and you're saying, "No, look over here, there's another way." Does that come up in your
Oh,
business and your
it's
interactions?
oh yeah, it's right on. In fact, I would say what we're doing is like 60% culture change,
Uh-huh.
lesser degree technology. There is technology, of course, but what we're doing is in trying. And I also wanted to respond to what Burton was saying, because it's sort of, I'm talking on the flip side of that and giving you a sense as to what we get on the cybersecurity side and the skepticism side related to that. It's also a culture question, but it's all about change from a person who's living at home and wanting to stay independent and healthy, and also from their caregivers to the healthcare system. There's the culture that sees the human body, and I think that comes from deep in our cultural layers, where it's sort of, we see the body as some sort of machine, and there's science and chemicals being medicines and mechanics that you can see from from the surgical space, but it's all sees the body as just a piece of material with some function, like a glorified robot. And we all come in with a little bit of that assumption because we're constantly being pushed this idea. And where we want to nudge is that there's a whole other, it's what's going on inside your mind, that thing that can't be touched, that can't be weighed, that can't be measured, but the experience. And there's a lot of philosophical things that people throw around that kind of dismiss that thing that's going on, that experiential part, that subjective. And our finding is that any approach to wellness, exercise, health, that just looks at the body as a material, a machine, and ignores the intrinsic subjective component, is missing a huge piece of the puzzle. And you're only going to get so far. People aren't going to do anything against if their will is not really going for it and feeling fully on board. And that is the fundamental nudge that we want to make to the world. It's really kind of starting with that. And it's like, I think in healthcare and in wellness, there's this sense of seriousness, and that's important. You have to be serious. It's, you don't want to play around, but it's almost like when you become over serious, you're missing something. When you go into someone's home and you're looking at focusing on what they need to stay vital and healthy and energetic, and you're very serious, and what is serious about it's like careful not to this, careful not to that. It's all, and it's important. Fear is important, but when it's heavily weighted on the fear, people in their mind, the signal you're sending them, well, what's the point? Is my point just to stay alive for no other reason than just because I'm supposed to? You have to give people a reason to stay alive, and that's an important part of wellness, is from our perspective. And that's a big push. I think that a lot of people still in the healthcare space see, oh, games, oh, what we're serious. We're following all the clinical things, and games as well, games for my kids type of thing. And you're missing something really critical when you do that, and you're going to lose people. They're going to kind of tune out when you're so focused on the fear factor. So for us, we're sitting at the intersection of health and pleasure and enjoyment. That's the unique thing, and we think that that's a really serious part of healthcare that's missing, that we want to push. And the second thing I wanted to say, to responding to Bertrand's, stories around cybersecurity and scans, is we have this issue as a company. We go out there, we're trying to tell people about what we're doing, and there's such a skepticism because of all the scams out there. And we'll say, well, we'll send you an invitation, and we'll need your email address to send you the invitation. Oh, my email address, that is like, God forbid a company should want to come to the world and want to, actually do something that's authentic and helpful. So there's these cross currents in the wake. It's almost like, from my perspective, there's like a overabundance of skepticism, but I'm not sure how, but what you're saying, Burton, is totally right on. So I'm not sure how these two elements could play together in a way where people get what are able to get what good people in the world are out there trying to give, and able to not get the nefarious stuff. So I'll stop there, but those are my kind of questions around that point.
Exactly. So caution. Yes, it's just a piece of often yellow tape, the caution tape. And it's like, oh, I'm glad that piece of tape is there. That piece of tape isn't going to stop anyone, their body, but they take notice. So how do we balance? Where's that fulcrum of balance? What would probably help me is to literally have a trusted face. I don't necessarily need to meet them face to face or in the same room, but a trusted face who says, if this company fits in these boxes, they've already done this and they've been checked out by the so and so's, and they, have a reputation of such, then great. Give them your email so that you can enjoy staying healthy, so that your mind is as much engaged and your smile is going, these muscles are going too, as you are going through the LudoFit games. And there are so many people that were adults in their careers by the time I was born that would say, oh, yes, never lose your playfulness. It isn't just a personality thing. You lose your playfulness. Yes, you are just going through motions like take pills, do these exercises, blah, blah, blah. Now, what do I do with the rest of my day? It's like, oh, the energy of thinking, wouldn't it be fun to actually do something like this? Or I want to call so and so to ask them how their ski trip was, and then I can tell them how I did skiing on LudoFit. Keeping the energy going, that maybe culture used to say, not too much energy, don't step outside any boxes. The one thing you want to do is just keep the days rolling. And it's like, wow, how about purposefulness and pointing into the future? Paula, I I guess what has been rolling around in your brain as you've been hearing these people, one of whom you have already met, Mark,
Yeah.
but maybe the other two have been a real surprise to you today.
So I want to second Burton also on the level of caution, because that is something that our older adult unfortunately experience uh, in many occasions. So the word of cautions with phone scams or with email scams, that we all experience those suspicious emails or suspicious phone calls. So thank you for bringing that up, Burton, because it's really important that everyone is sort of aware and with our uh, sort of our radar fine tuned to be cautious. Now, on the other hand, it's true what you were saying, Christine. It's important to be open and explore new things. Where I'm thinking that where I'm pushing and trying to get the message is number one, that people in different conditions with chronic diseases, even if they don't they feel that computers are intimidated, and especially people with dementia, they still are curious, they still have the sense of beauty, they still want to learn and experience things. So technology has to evolve and adapt, and the rest of us, we can help them initiate and participate and engage. So as we move forward, technology is going to continue evolving and making it easier for everyone to participate. It has to be a holistic approach. Like Mark was saying, we have to keep being playful and keep moving and keep being curious and keep the social connections. I mean, there are so many, and for nothing is how we enjoy life. But if you want to have a reason, it's just we know that healthy aging involves cognition, so always trying to learn something new, involves social interactions. We are social beings. It involves healthy eating, but also it involves being keeping physically active. So all of those aspects are so important in order to have the most important thing is to have the best quality of life that we can. And I think with our tools, Mark's, Burton, and myself, what we want to provide is to help maintain a quality of life the best that we can, because no matter what we're experiencing, we still have the sense of, we enjoy sense the beauty when we are curious, uh, and that's what we want to promote. So my message is, if you are intimidated with technology, don't be, and help. And if you are the adult child that you worry about your aging parents, embrace technology and help them stay connected, and look at the tools that we are offering here in this panel.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's one part of my website that I've dedicated to scams, cons, exploitation of many different sorts. I simply will not talk about why it is so important to me, but I never want those things to happen to other people that happen to some of the people that I know. And the being targeted, I cannot choose. I cannot choose between keeping someone safe and releasing my control of no, don't be careful. Oh, not this. Oh, I can't. It probably feels very condescending to have me around because I go that direction, and yet I see how important it is for me to not follow my person or follow my loved one every moment and keep them out. But what I would say is that that part of my my Aging Better network that I dedicated to that was to empower other people. So me as a 62-year-old, empowering my kids, friends, the people who are part of my life because maybe they're the person I always go to at the bank, empowering them to be curious and go, something's different. Can you just tell me why I feel like I need to ask you that? And to be able, it's like, oh, I'm so ashamed, in my future, whether that's when I'm 92 or next week, to be able to go, I'm just so ashamed because I think I've become a victim of something, or I've become so cautious that I've curled away from people and I'm just starting to hermit in different ways, and to empower other people to say, hey, that I mean you no harm. I have your best interest at heart, or I'm just a caring person. Could you express that to me, or should we go see someone professional that you feel like, oh, they would understand what I've been through? Because there's so many different ways to take advantage of a person who is feeling vulnerable, who has become more vulnerable because of maybe emotional things that are going on, medical things that are going on. And so maybe that is my balance point, is to take the initiative to empower someone else to be curious and just go, things seem different. Are you okay? And to go, I think someone just stole $3,000 of mine. And it's like, you should not be ashamed. They should be ashamed. Let's get on this right now because you are not their last victim. Let's contact Burton, and take care of this. Okay. So, me off my emotional podium. So, Joy, as you've gone through, today in just these few minutes, and then you started with 1985 to this moment, is there like that situation that you think, boy, that comes up again and again, and it just holds true throughout the years? Or are you like, you know what, everything changes? what,
No,
what
it's
what what comes to mind?
it's definitely fear. The theme here is a theme in all of our lives, and the fear of looking ahead is enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous. It's called different things in different worlds. Denial is one of them. But I like to stay focused on the word fear because it is a powerful emotional word that we all get. A lot of us don't even know we're in denial of our denial. So I don't use that word. But everybody knows to be afraid of the future, and they know what it feels like for them. So the common theme then is, well, what about it? What do we do? Well, most people don't know that we have a distinction that has to be made in our lives. There's change, right? We go through change. And then there's the transition that is related to the change. Fear-driven people stay focused on the change. They just stay right there. I got ripped off. I broke my knee. I can't find my glasses. And they stay focused on the circumstance. Successfully aging people stay focused on the transition, which is a clean slate, which is a new mindset. So we say in our world, what happened? who am I now? Who can I talk to? And how do I proceed? The creativity in the transition state is enormous. It's wonderful. This is also where creative thinking comes in. I don't know if anyone is familiar with that term. I wasn't until I wrote my latest book, Who Will Take Care of Me When I'm Old? Creative thinking is what helps us navigate change. Fear goes away. We talk to people that we would never talk to in our lives, young, old, rich, poor, black, white, gay, straight, and ask them one question. What would you do if you were me in this situation? And watch the magic happen. So this is what we have, so much power in our mistakes and things that happen to us. We just have to hang out with people who have a way to be influential to us. Like you said, Christine, you talk to people or they talk to you and say, hey, has something changed? Or I care about you. Let's talk. I love what you said, Mark, about it's all about the experience, because that's what happens up here and then it goes to our heart. Everything we do, whether we play a game or talk to people on the phone or have coffee with someone, it's the experience of life. And so that's this wonderful conversation that we've been having has taken me through a roller coaster of wonderful experiences that I haven't had today, at least. So much brain power here. So thank you, everybody.
Wow, thank you, Joy. That was wonderful, and I love that we focus on the transition, because it's a way of, we are all reinventing ourselves as entrepreneurs. This is how we're living every day. Sort of, what can I do to make progress, right? Or and that's how we're challenging life daily, and that's what it make it also meaningful, that we find a purpose to transition, to evolve, to become better human beings. And no matter what your condition is, even if you have dementia, you're still experiencing, as I mentioned before, beauty, sense of belonging. You need the companionship, and that's how you evolve. And it's admirable that so many people are showing us how you can evolve despite the difficulties that they may experience, because they are embracing the transition. Thank you for
Oh,
that
you're welcome.
comment, Joy.
I have the deepest gratitude. Burton, Joy, Paula, Mark. Wow. This, I do this every week. It just, I must let you go. You are all so involved in so much good, and you are nudging giant ships, and you have so much value. I can't wait for it to get to more people and more people, because we all hear someone say, oh, I wished I'd had that, or I wished I'd known you, or I wish I realized that. And it's like, and now you have it. You don't focus on there. Look forward,
That's
the
right.
transition. Oh my goodness, this has been so great.
Yes.
Does anyone have one final word? And then I'm just going to wave.
I do. It's all about, as much as I love technology and I love it, it's about people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stay connected. In person, in person.
On
Get
top,
together.
oh,
Get
sorry.
together. Yep. Get together.
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to add to kind of jump on what Joy said is to make sure that you definitely unplug from your devices from time to time technology devices are designed to be addictive. So it's great. Technology is great, but at the same time, set aside a time to unplug and embrace your friends and family. A good day to do it would be on Sundays. You can follow hashtags of self-care Sunday, set it down Sunday, and no cell phone Sundays. But yeah, if Sunday doesn't work, any day of the week, just make sure that you're mindful of your technology use and make sure you stay connected to people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Stay connected. We're social, and that's what feed our spirit, and to stay connected. Absolutely.
I'm actually going to be going dark for 3 days, and I will be with people, and helping out with some things. A fundraiser slash bazaar, village bazaar. So I really look forward to that, and it'll be so strange to see people in 3 dimension. Mark, any last word?
Uh-oh, I think you may be muted, Mark.
Sorry about that.
We can see your
It's been a
smile.
great conversation. I really appreciated, hearing from everyone, and I second all what you guys are bringing forward about keeping it real, connecting with people, embracing life. Being in the physical world, definitely critical. And really, technology, whatever we're talking about in terms of wellness and technology, it's there to give you energy so you could live life. Like, why do I exercise? And when I do exercise, I exercise because I want to feel good and go out in the world and give positive energy to the people around me. So just keep focused on what it's all about.
Yeah.
Amen.
Why you're doing what you're doing. Excellent, wonderful. Again, I'm so grateful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.